welcome back. We just did the Teamfight Tactics patch notes. Now it's time for League of Legends patch 26.4. And this nice little snow plum blossom skin for Lilia is here on the cover. Yay. So it looks like we got a plethora of changes to go over. The winter sports skins are back. A little curling Veigar action there. We go straight into the champions. Ambessa. Q's. Cunning Sweep. Sundering Slam. Bonus damage to monsters down by 25. I have noticed that. Both in solo queue and in pro play. Good old Ambessa has been more of a jungler than a top laner. I'm sorry, I changed the background there. I wanted a purple background, but that was a little too deep purple. Anyway. Annie, Disintegrate, and Molten Shield. You know, Annie has been pretty weak, I would think. I haven't seen her at all. Oh, has all but disappeared. Yeah, basically. So they're increasing her base damage by 20 on the Q. And her Molten Shield's cooldown has been equalized at 10 seconds. Okay, some nice little buffs for the little girl. Why not? Aphelios, Passman. The bonus AD from his passive has actually been decreased. -1 all the way up to -6 at its full scaling. Bro, I'm not going to lie to you. It started to feel like some 200 years nonsense again with Aphelios back to being meta. Press R. Like the last Aphelios I had, pressed R, got a quadra kill. So I'm not even shocked to see this. Brand. So they're buffing Brand jungle again. I really don't want to see this, but whatever. An extra 5% on her passive damage to monsters. And the damage cap increased by 10. Okay. Not ridiculously massive buffs by any means, but cool. Still a little worried about seeing the resurgence of Brand jungle. Braum. Undershutter Braum nerfs last patch. Really? I haven't seen much Braum. But, you know, just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not being played, right? I've only played so many games. I've played like, what? Maybe 10 games? 10, 15 games? And I've seen him like maybe twice, so. Base damage on Glacial Fissure. -50 at rank 2, -100 at rank 3. And the cooldown, up 10, up 15, up 20. Holy crap. So some... Really just trying to keep his ult from being up and doing so much damage, I suppose. It's a good nerf. I mean, Braum will still be Braum. Camille, hookshot. Attack speed is now gained when Camille dashes off a wall, regardless of whether or not she hits an enemy champ. Alright, fine. Honestly, my biggest problem with having to land against Camille is the infinite movement speed. So, as far as buffs go, fine. Darius, monster damage. 2.5 times now. You know, I just won a game against a Darius jungle yesterday when I got autofilled. And it seemed pretty good, but maybe my jungler just sucked. Alright. Fizz. Bonus monster damage. Up 30, so Fizz jungle also getting buffed. Graves. Armor per stack. 4 to 16 is now 7 to 19. I don't like buffing Graves. MR, 2 to 8 is now 3.5 to 9.5. I don't know. I don't think I particularly like Graves being strong, but okay. Gwen. These should be nerfs. Yeah, a -6 damage on the snip here at max rank. Minion damage modifier increased a little. So, trying to pull Gwen back towards being more of a laner than a jungler. Base damage per needle. 35 through 95 is now 30 through 70. Okay. Those don't sound big, but remember that Gwen's Q hits multiple times based on how many stacks she has. And the same with her ult. The needles hit you a lot. There's a lot of needles being thrown. So, this nerf is more significant than it looks. Hui. Pool of Reflection. Maximum shield value, 100 to 20 is now 100 to 260 Ally Shield Mod 85%, so some nice defensive buffs for Hui here. And his ultimate Spiraling Despair, minus 20 seconds at rank 1, minus 15 seconds at rank 2. Okay. Alawi, Tentacle base damage, 9 through 180 is now 9 through 200. So, is that just for levels 19 and 20? Staying above water in the new season, so we're here to throw her a lifeline. Considering that level skins all their age and top lane. I don't know that really matters. The thing that makes Alawi powerful is that it's a really difficult champion to lane against. If you're a melee champion, especially a very immobile melee champion, it can be very difficult to avoid her E. And if she lands the E, she beats most champions just straight up. There's nothing you can do. So you're like forced to play like basically a mini game against this champ. You know? I feel like that's the kind of, I don't know. I feel like giving her bonus tentacle damage scaling at levels 19 and 20 doesn't really change a whole lot for how this champion plays out. Because I feel like if you were, I don't know. I'm rambling a little bit, but I feel like that champion's gameplay isn't really centered around the levels 19 and 20. So, but a buff is a buff, so her win rate will probably go up. Jinx, armor growth, 4.7, 4.2. You know, I lost a game to a Jinx and we couldn't fucking kill her. This is a good nerf. Make her a little squishier, make her a little easier to kill. Kassadin, health growth, decrease. Force pulse, minus 20% on the slow. Yeah, you know, Kassadin, I've seen this tech. Saris plus Muramana. 2 mana items plus Actualizer. I think I have not seen Kassadin lose a game this season. I think he's won every game I've seen him in. These aren't significant nerfs. I guess a 20% slow is pretty significant, but I feel like this champ is just going to be Thanos for the rest of this season. Speaking of Thanos, Kayle. Base damage on her Q nerfed. 60 to 220 is now 60 to 180. Minus 40 base damage at max rank. Yeah. I mean, we all saw this coming, right? Like, they even stated here, like, everyone knew Kayle was going to have a real good time top lane this season. Because the bonus experience means that she's hitting 16 way, way easier. Especially if you're in a lane where you don't get punished very hard, so you can just sit there and farm. Champ's been kind of disgusting. Kennen, Slicing Maelstrom. 120 to 80 seconds is now just straight flat 120. Which is a plus 40 seconds to his ult at max rank, by the way. Alright, cool. Less ultimates for the Kennen. Lee Sin. Lee Sin's W2 is the only ability in the game that grants both Lifesteal and Spellvamp. We're looking to combine those into Omnivamp along with a couple other systematic changes. Okay. So is this a buff, nerf, or an adjustment? Lee Sin is unable to heal with W2 and Smite on either minions, draw monsters, or champions. Lee Sin 2 grants Omnivamp, which apply on minions, monsters, and champions. Sounds like a buff. It is an adjustment. I don't actually know how that math works out. Oops. I don't actually know how that math works out. Lux. Base mana. 40 less base mana, but a little more mana regen. Light Binding. Cooldown. 10 seconds across the board, so a buff early, but nerf late. Prismatic Barrier. Cooldown. 14 to 10 is now 12 to 10. Okay. I mean, sure. Okay. Cute buffs, I guess. Maokai. Much more comfortable roots in top and support roles. Really? I haven't seen a Maokai top at all. But they're buffing his monster damage. 120 to 160 is now 140 to 180, so plus 20 across the board for his Q damage to monsters. Naafiri. Base health regen down by 1.5. Health growth down by 0.1. Darkened Dagger's mana cost. It starts less but scales up to be more. Same with the E, which now also costs more mana. I've only seen Naafiri like twice, and both times I've had to deal with it top lane. Why? Because that's just the nature of top lane. Qiyana. Health growth down. I don't think I've seen a single Qiyana. But I guess she's really good right now, eh? Rengar. I've seen a lot of Rengar, by the way. Yeah, so it's a little nerf here. It was 30 through 150 with 115% total AD scaling. Minus 10% to the total AD scaling. Ferocity damage. This is from the passive, right? 30 to 235 plus 130. 35 to 240. A little bit more base damage. Plus 5. But minus 10% on the total AD scaling again. So Rengar lost 10% of his AD scaling around his Q. Makes sense to me. Rengar's the champ I use as an example all the time. Right? Because, you know, I play a lot of top lane. I love to play Juggernauts. And it's always funny when you like hit someone with a set W or a Darius R or a Garen R or something. And they're like, wow, that's fair. I get one shot. And it's normally like the enemy ADC who says it. And I always use the example of, if I was a fed Rengar, would you have stood a better chance of surviving? At least if I'm set, right? I have to take advantage of like your tank's positioning to dunk him into you, into the W, and then stun you into the W. Or I have to flash to line it up properly to get the one shot. That doesn't happen with Rengar. If a fight starts and Rengar hits R and he jumps on you, he's like one of the few champs in the game that will truly one-shot you. Like, literally the moment he touches you, like 0.1 seconds, you're dead. So it is nice to see him get brought down a little bit. Rumble is not in Pro Gel. Bullshit. Base health, minus 15. The Equalizer, maximum damage. Minus 100 at rank 1, up to 1400. I wonder if this would help to stop him from just cooking a minion wave and recalling when he's losing lane. Because he did that a lot. And I feel like if that's part of the problem, you could probably just give him a greater cooldown on his ult. Rise. Realm Warp. No longer refuses to grab a champion if they're currently pathing out of the circle while near the edge. I didn't know that. Huh. And I honestly expected a nerf here to Rise. Huh. Alright. Samira, lifesteal effectiveness. 80% now 100%. Holy crap. They gave it back? Lifesteal effectiveness on the ult as well. 100% lifesteal effectiveness. Holy crap. That is a scary buff to make. But understandable. She is an ADC anyway, so I think it actually leads to a very fun playstyle in a lot of ways. Senna. You know, it's actually getting kind of dark in here. This might be my chance to try my new light. Let's actually see here how well this new light works. I can actually probably just plug it in here. Yes, yes, yes. That is much better. That's my new stream light. And it's working pretty well. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. All right, let's continue. Senna found herself in a weird state where she can be quite powerful, but not when playing her more popular offense-focused builds. You know, Senna is a champion that I hate to see people lock in. Okay? I rarely see Senna win games. It feels like she's not a good support and she's not a good carry. She's just a weird hybrid that enchanters play when they want to feel like a carry. And most of the time, she seems useless. Right? And when she's not useless, she's just kind of like really annoying. And eventually she does some damage. But I feel like if that's going to be your angle, just play Sona or Seraphine at that point, right? Then you can be really annoying and scale really well. I really just don't like Senna. It feels like if there's a Senna on my team, I'm going to lose because my support's clueless and wants to feel like a carry. Anyway, on to the changes. Piercing Darkness, 30 through 150 plus 40, 30 through 130, so she lost 20 base damage, but plus 20% AD scaling. Last Embrace, her W, 70 through 250 plus 70, 70 through 230 plus 90, so same change here. Plus 20% bonus AD scaling, but she lost some base damage. Swain, Vision of Empire, they equalize the slow. It stops at 50% at all ranks. I guess Swain bot's too popular, yeah. Damage per second, 4% on the ult. Damage scaling, 40%, minus 10%. And the slow, equalized as well to 50%. Man. Swain's having too good of a time bot lane. It kind of makes me feel bad because I'm one of the Swain mid enjoyers. Syndra. Force of Will. So this is when she picks stuff up and throws it. 70 through 210 is now 70 through 190. So minus 20 base damage. Unleashed Power. Base damage. Also minus 10. I mean, a little bit less damage. So she doesn't one-shot you as predictably as early on as she does, I suppose. Fine. Teemo. Teemo's been struggling in the jungle. Someone tell Broxah. Teemo jungle just got buffed. An extra 15% monster damage. Someone tell Broxah. And please, for the love of God, can people stop copying him and playing the shit in my games? Twitch. Health growth decreased. Armor growth also decreased. Twitch is a little squishier. That's fine. Whatever. Udyr. Wilding Claw. Base damage on hit. 5 to 35 is now 5 to 45. So a little bit of buff to the Q. I mean, I guess you never see AD Udyr, right? So some small buffs to his Q might make that more appealing. Iron Mantle. Base shield strength. Increased by up to 25 at max rank. Right now, they're quite far apart in power. Wow. Okay. So they're buffing his two weakest stances. That makes sense to me. Xayah. Xayah appears statistically balanced, but players feel she lacks agency. Well, the whole role lacks agency, but yeah. Double daggers. Little less mana. Her W, 20 through 16 is now 18 through 14. 2-second buff. Not bad. And the recall on the daggers. Also a mana buff. So some mana buffs on Xayah. Mana and cooldown buffs. It should be kept in mind that cooldown buffs are effectively damage buffs because you get to cast the abilities more often, which means that you get to do more damage with the abilities. I'm not going to go on to that tangent again. Zac. I've fought a lot of Zac tops since the season started. This champ's healing in lane is oppressive. And then he just one-shots you for some reason. Damage per hit. 40 through 100 plus P plus maximum health. More base damage, by the way. But instead of max health, it's bonus health for the bonus damage. Okay. Let's bounce. Initial base damage. Minus 20 at max rank. Well, it's just minus 20 across the board. Maximum base damage. Minus 50. Alright, so they're bringing down his damage a little bit. His base damage is higher here, but the scaling is worse. Alright. This is still going to suck to deal with in lane, though. I'm not going to lie to you. The extra guaranteed base damage. I guess you take more damage generally from his W than his Q. But, like, he can guaranteed hit you with the Q because he just Qs a minion and then auto attacks you. I don't know. We'll see. Hex Optics. Range for maximum bonus damage. Lessened again. They did this twice now. Bonus range on takedown duration. 8 seconds. Wow. They're really trying to push this item into being more desirable. Summoner spells. Omnivamp will no longer apply to Smite and Ignite. Okay. I feel like that's a change you should have made a while ago. Alright, and then changes to Era Mayhem and Arena. I actually have not finished my Era Mayhem pass, so I'm not going to go into it here. Zion received some nerfs. And I haven't been playing Arena. I'm just going to be honest with you. That game mode is not fun anymore. Arena was fun when a lot of people played it and they were picking Bravery and they were just kind of cooking. Arena right now is the same 15 champions getting locked in every single game, and then people gaslighting you into thinking they're better players because they're just trying to high roll their augments. It's not fun anymore. I feel like some serious changes are going to need to be made to Arena to make it fresh and fun again. But anyway, that's going to be the League of Legends patch notes. We got these new Petals of Spring Champion skins that are on the way. So, some more Eastern skins for the winter time. And this nice skin here for Aurelion that makes him look more like a Western dragon. So, or sorry, an Eastern dragon. He kind of does already since he doesn't have wings, but, you know. This is his porcelain skin. But it looks like Ao Shin. It's a better version of the porcelain skin, but it kind of, with him standing over a temple, it kind of reminds me of the Ao Shin splash art. So yeah, those skins and their assorted chromas. So, that's going to do it for me, guys. Overall, patch notes weren't as crazy as I was hoping, right? The obvious champs that should get nerfed, got nerfed. I'm shocked that Ryze did not get like an actual severe nerf because I feel like he's in the same boat as Kassadin. I guess the difference is that Ryze isn't a mobile champion, so he can be easier to lock down and kill, but yeah. Overall, kind of happy with this patch. Little excited to see where some of these nerfs land. Hopefully less Rengar, less Gwen, less Kassadin, less Ryze. Not less Ryze. I mean, he's going to be out sooner or later anyway. But, yeah. That's going to do it for me, guys. I've already done the TFT patch notes. I did it just before this. That'll be uploaded to YouTube as well. It was great to see you guys again. I got to get out of here. I will hopefully be streaming this weekend. I'm aiming for Saturday. Don't quote me on that, but I'm aiming for Saturday. We're going to play some ranked games. We're going to do some TFT. It'll be a nice little fun stream where we do a little bit of everything. So, until then, I will catch y'all later. Peace.